how we all felt.
Good morning, evening, afternoon to everybody.
Whatever time of day you're at.
Good day.
To whomever and whoever is listening, we love you. And thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Calm Down, It's Fine podcast. It's been a minute. Maybe not for the listeners.
No.
True.
It's been a minute.
It's been a while.
Dustin died.
Oh yeah, Dustin's not here.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Him
That's some
and
crickets.
Mackenzie broke up.
Yeah, it's been a rough
Inevitable.
few weeks.
Everyone saw it coming.
Yeah.
It's good.
I don't want to say my
I'm glad
money
we
was on it, but
I'm glad we recorded
As much as
4
we could.
episodes,
Right. Yeah.
like in the.
yeah.
So we got this far.
Mhm.
We should
Damage control.
have done more.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
have
should
it-
have
we have his
recorded
home.
like 10 episodes to get us through half the year.
We have his homecoming ceremony.
Yeah, it's sad. But Dustin is not with us. Him and Mackenzie broke up. So
Mm.
family, Dustin,
Yeah.
you know,
That's what
gone.
happens.
But
I voted the other way, but Cameron was like, nah.
it's hard, man. It's rough.
We did like the 21 gun salute.
Brr, 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 brr.
Play tabs.
Tabs.
We already did one of those for when
No, we
Harry
did.
was
We
gone.
did it for Harry when Harry
What
died.
haven't we done? My goodness, we're old now.
What's the?
Anyways, what is this, episode 38?
I don't even know.
It's episode
Oh,
It's been that
38.
long since I saw you guys.
Episode 38.
It's been a while.
And yeah, so Dustin is actually at drill from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and tomorrow, which is Sunday. We are recording. This is the first time in like 2 months that we're recording on Saturday,
Mhm.
and it's being released on Monday. So we're current right now.
We are as current as we will ever
We-
be.
We are
It's
current.
like
Have
the
ever
only way
been.
we could do is like a live on Monday
I listen.
while you're driving to work.
Yeah. I listened to what was it Thursday afternoon, and I was listening to the last one on brands, and I'm like, this is why Georgia national championship. I'm like, oh my goodness, that
Forever
was,
ago.
that was
was
the
a long
first
time
of
ago.
January.
A long time ago.
But yeah,
We're
we do what we
busy,
can.
though.
We do what we can.
Yeah.
You know, we put the work in. We get them.
Yeah.
We get them recorded. We put them out. Be
All
it
of our
late or
Busy lives, scheduling around 4 people, and we still haven't missed a week yet.
yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Me and David haven't at least. Hey.
Up top.
That's it. Yeah, hand clap of praise, rewards in heaven.
Yeah,
there
come
you
on,
go.
get
Where's that? Give it to him.
There we go.
Rewards
on.
in heaven.
Come on.
I want
That's
the
it.
rewards
Max
on
that out.
earth.
Max it out. See how high you
Ladder.
can
Get some, boys. All right. No,
I
we're
want
done.
the rewards now in the form of a subscribe and a like on YouTube. So and
Yeah, say
Spotify.
that. Like, start it over so I can clip it and put it on all our social media. Say like, subscribe, rate, review.
You want me
Donate.
to
Do
do
it.
like a
like
like an infomercial?
You go.
voice?
Boom,
a used car salesman.
do it. You got
A
it.
used cars.
Get
a
some
used
like
car
reverb
salesman.
on it.
Like
Yeah.
Sunday.
I can probably adjust
Cam
it
and I
here.
now. Cam and I will be the background. You keep going. We'll see how it works.
Yeah, here
go
we go.
for it.
Oh,
3,
man, I got
2, 1.
It's Monday. The new episode of Calm Down, It's Fine is out.
Oh, keep going. We're trying to sell these. We're trying to flip these boys like hotcakes out here. Come on, send them.
I know, but you guys are echoing. I can't even hear what I'm saying because I said it's Sunday.
You say the first,
And
I'll
all I
back
hear is-
you up.
All I hear is Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday. So we have to
Actually, I
whisper.
didn't even say Sunday. I said Monday.
Monday.
The foghorn
Why don't we have that button on the board?
That's so dumb.
because we haven't updated. That's why.
Because it's almost been a year and Cameron still hasn't updated his sounds yet.
Hey, you want to keep the podcast like
It has to be a running
authentic, bro. Like we have boxes.
There's stands, Cam.
Well,
There's
we
stands.
have boxes that say our names on them, and
Yeah, we
they're
do.
stored in the corner right there.
Well, mine was hidden behind the on-air sign. But
Where is the on-air sign?
I don't know. I don't live here.
Again, authenticity. This is how it's done,
Man,
fellas.
we have the.
Pay no attention to the man
Where'd you
behind the
put it?
curtain.
Where'd Jimmy go?
Jimmy.
Oh,
You mean
Oh.
racist possum?
Nah, wait, is mine Jimmy or Jerry?
Yours is the racist white possum.
yours was Jerry. Mine was
Mine's
Jimmy.
Jerry.
Mine got eaten by the dog.
It's in my car the whole
Certainly
entire
did.
week. The whole entire week, just sitting in my car.
He sits right there.
Hold
on
up.
the dash.
Bless you.
Oh my COVID.
Pre-bless.
Oh my goodness, dude.
What have you been up to? You.
Snow camp.
You specifically.
We were at
You, go.
snow camp, and snow camp went great. You know, it's time for kids to get away from their phones. It was not snow camp, but it was cold camp. We haven't got any snow in a while.
Cold camp?
Yeah, there was no snow. We were in PA.
Everybody got cold.
And the kids were like, and they're like, hey, you know, there is a tubing hill, but you know, would not recommend going down.
Please tell me somebody tried.
I don't know.
Please,
You just see a kid standing up, just totally smeared in.
You didn't do any type of skiing or nothing?
Well, they did.
Didn't they have like the artificial snow blower thing?
They went to like Camelback Mountain
Where's
to
that?
go skiing.
Where's snow camp at?
Somewhere in PA, out there.
Man doesn't even know.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know.
Anyway, it's in PA. They went skiing. I was not ready to drop like $125 to go skiing for 2 hours. I'm like,
Steve.
so it's okay. I'll do the
You got
fellowship
other
aspect.
priorities.
Other priorities.
We should do it. We should do
There
a
were
calm
two-
down is fine.
There were two
snowboard.
fans at there.
It'd be
So-
us and Hannah.
No, I don't mean like invite people. I mean like the people on this podcast should hang out other than recording, and snowboarding would be a good.
Yeah, we should
Would be
do
a fun
something like that.
day.
It'd be a good team building
Just go.
experience,
Yeah.
bro.
So people
Snowboard.
know that we're actually friends.
Yeah.
When we walk away from this table.
Yeah. I have an idea I have an idea about what we were talking about before it started. But
There
we'll
was
say when we get to
a guy at snow camp who was preaching. Anyway, there were two fans who came up to me and said, "Hey, watch your podcast." I'm like, "Oh,
they said watch.
yeah," or
Hey,
listen. I don't know. I'm like, there you go. So, whoever you are out there,
You didn't get
thank
their
you for
names.
support. No, I gave them their room key. I'm like,
was just
I'm like, there you go.
You know
thanks.
what room
They were
key
like,
is?
Here's your
They're
room
watching.
key.
They're
were
like,
like, we're fans
what a
of-
snobby jerk.
They were like, we're fans of the podcast.
really-
He's like, yeah, I get that a lot.
I really let people down.
Yeah,
Move it on. Move on.
Yeah, I said thanks, and I kind of like like breadcrumbs. Like you throw the breadcrumbs. I threw their room keys like out on the floor. Like there you go.
Yeah.
We're fans of the podcast. We watch every week. Yeah, you and everyone else.
That's it. Take your
God.
take a number and get back in line.
Where's my agent? He's supposed to be keeping you guys away from me.
But there was a the messages were all phenomenal. I was called to preach at snow camp, 2000
year?
and
Oh.
no 2014. But there was a preacher who was a missionary somewhere Eastern European. I cannot remember to save my life. But he was actually visiting the States this year. He's every 7 years he's back. He was actually at that DeMar Hamlin game. Like he's from
really?
Buffalo. He was in the stadium when it happened, and he preached a really good message on when death is in the room.
What
As far
stadium?
the Bills Stadium.
Yeah, death is in the room.
Death is in
or
the room.
stadium.
Yeah, or the stadium.
Yeah.
But it was just really interesting message, like putting things in perspective. Like I've never heard, it's all for teens, and then it was just a sobering message. Was there for Brother Charlie's "Be a Man"
Be a man.
speech,
I've never heard that
message,
but I've-
lesson. It is charge, rip session. However, your view of it is the highlight of my year. I love it.
Does he do it? He does it every year.
He's been doing it for 30 plus, however long he's been doing
No,
it.
is it the same? Is it the same thing every year, or is it like a different?
I mean, it's like walks like a man, acts like a man, talks like a man.
Like you could get up and preach what he preaches.
I have it recorded on my phone. I could start playing it, but it's like 45 minutes. And
We should
That's
call
what-
him and say,
that's what
give
this
us,
episode is.
give us a.
but it's like every single person that walks in, there's like guys in like the front row, like just cheer, yeah. Like
What if
anybody walks in,
What if I call BC on Kayla's phone?
that's it.
He for sure would answer.
Yeah.
And be like, Psych, this is Kayla. Gotcha. There's a cupboard.
Yeah. Hey, brother Charlie, that's my man.
Hey, brother Charlie, really calm down. It's my pocket. I got a question for you.
Dude, I
Real quick.
love it. It's
What's
so
a man?
great. Be a man. It's the best.
That's awesome.
So good.
Have you ever heard it before?
What, the message? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
since I've been a
Yeah,
teenager.
yeah.
I've at least heard it six times.
Then, so why haven't you
Put
got it right.
Put into practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy it.
Because if I did, he'd stop preaching.
That's
it.
it.
What is this?
He's like, he has every single time. He's like,
Did Dustin put that in the group?
that's it.
What
Yeah.
is that?
Infiltrate the buildings that way.
The second half of that note doesn't even make sense.
But
I tried
there's,
to get you to Anyway, moving on.
But with like the be a man thing, I told Ruth ahead of time here's what's gonna happen. He's gonna come in. It's like, men don't giggle, they laugh, and he's like, he practices mega ha ha. So, every single year. So you have like 100 guys like ha ha.
Like laughing like they count from Sesame Street.
Yeah. Men don't glisten, men sweat. Goodness, what's that?
Okay.
Yeah. He's like, Jesus was not some effeminate Twinkie tiptoeing through the tulips. Jesus was a man.
What if I don't do either? What if I don't sweat or glisten?
Or tiptoe through the daisies.
Tiptoe through the tulips.
Through the tulips. Something, 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 something. That's a creepy song. No, do you know who giggles a lot though? Michael Shane.
He Googles a lot?
Giggles.
Yeah.
Oh,
Giggles, not
Googles.
Googles.
You know the Michael Shane
really?
giggle. And it's so
I can do a
embarrassing.
pretty good sponge.
He hates
good, right?
he giggles.
Come on, acknowledge
That was good.
It was his
Lee. Do you remember that episode?
No, I do.
Whatever the charge like.
I've never
Men don't giggle in the background.
I've never been a SpongeBob fan.
I wasn't either. I wasn't even allowed to watch it.
I love it.
I just could. I literally have worked no time on doing that. It just is something that the tone of my voice can.
SpongeBob is based off of you, is what you're saying.
Probably, most likely.
I can see it.
Also, all turkeys.
Yeah, oh my
That's
God.
it.
Here we go. That's Cameron's claim to
There you
fame.
go.
I was
Name
when I
clap for
went to
praise.
see my
Give
wife.
yourself a round of applause. You earned
Okay.
it. You earned it.
When you
We
die-
know what you wanted.
When you die on your tombstone, it's not even gonna be like, it's not gonna say
Gobble, gobble.
pastor.
You're
it's
gonna see
not
a bunch
say
of turkeys
preacher, It's
around
just gonna
my-
say
Yeah.
You're gonna
turkey
see
collar.
turkeys around my grave with their wings just going on my grave. Like,
That's it. Like the Ark of the Covenant with like the angels, but like turkey wings.
somehow, when I went to see, when I went on our first date with my wife, we went to her house and
you impressed her with the turkey
I walked
call.
in, and within 2 minutes, my wife was like getting ready, and she heard, she heard downstairs.
Were you like outside the windows throwing rocks?
It was
and
like
making
no, I was
turkey
like
calls?
I was just like throwing everything out. Like I can do this, I can do this, I can do this.
With,
Then
like,
what it was,
Inside,
I walked
like, the
in,
boombox above.
said, "Oh, this is this is the awesome backyard." Brother Mike was like, "Yeah,
It does
there was
have a nice
turkeys.
backyard.
There was turkeys back there this afternoon." I'm like, "Oh, I can do a turkey call." And that's what it was. I wasn't just like walking in doing. You want to hear my goose call?
He's like, so what can you bring in this relationship?
Brother Mike was like, what are you bringing to the table here, Cameron?
Can you provide for? I can provide sound effects.
Cameron, what do you bring to the table? Cameron's like, they call me the foul speaker.
The foul speaker.
I know the foul speaker.
Call him by name.
So that's what happened.
That's it.
And by golly, we're having a kid now.
It worked out.
You're having a
What if your kid's first words are a turkey call?
little turkey.
He like comes out. He's
yourself.
like, caw. He like comes out. Caw. Dustin's not here. Someone's got to be an idiot.
You're feeling it nicely.
So yeah, so
Thanks, buddy.
back to the giggle thing. So Michael Shane has this giggle, and it's so girly, and it's the worst thing, and he hates it. He literally hates it.
Call him.
So when he started dating,
Michael Shane, go for us.
so when he started dating his now wife,
Wow.
he was hiding from her his like giggle. Like he refused. He's like, dude, she doesn't know about my gay giggle, and I hope she never finds out. And I was like, oh yeah. So we invited them over for dinner, and I told him before he came over to the house, I was like, my goal is
will
to make
make
you
you, yeah.
giggle. And he was like, please don't do it. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. And I got him. I got him to giggle. And sure enough, he was like, I can't believe it.
Well, he has your iPad, so you got him back.
Yeah. Jokes on
I think
you.
about that almost daily.
The fact that he
That he
has
lost
an
an
Yeah,
iPad.
because we have this freeform thing, and I'm like, David would have you have a work one,
I have my work.
but I'm like, David would have access to the freeform bulletin board if
no.
Michael didn't steal his.
Yeah. Michael Shane is single-handedly hindering the podcast.
Yes, we could
For
be so much
Rizzle.
farther along.
Yeah.
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 Thanks, Michael Shane.
All right, so
You better subscribe
So what
to
else?
that.
what's up with you, Davey? What have you been
Did you
doing
finish?
since?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was
pretty
done.
much.
Snow camp is.
I was done.
Snow camp. Yeah.
This is the only
So-
thing you did.
He's
Okay.
done. He's done.
Yeah, I'm done. My time's up.
And while you
since-
talk, I mention these guys. Right here.
Yeah. Since the last time we've been around the table, dude, we're like the knights at the round table, but it's square. And there's
Rectangle.
only 4 of us.
Definitely rectangle. Come on, just say I'm right. You know, you can't get around it.
I know. I don't want to admit it.
I know. It's like, why is it so hard? I'll admit you're right.
So we're like the knights at the round
Remember
table.
before we started recording and we said 99 cents? I said 1.99, and you're like, I knew it was 99. I'm like, oh, you should have told me. I would have told you. Yeah, you're right. I don't have a problem admitting.
I'm not
you're-
looking for validation though, Cameron.
I'm not either. I'm saying,
You
yeah,
are.
you're right.
You-
I'm
You
wrong.
want me to tell you that you're right?
If I'm right, be humble enough and not like
Wow.
weirded out and be like, your
Okay.
poor wife.
So
Your poor wife.
this square table. No. Yes, this rectangular table.
Mhm.
So since the last time that we were at the table, I made a trip down to Georgia.
Wow.
We spent.
Show to the devil.
Yeah, the devil did.
Devil went,
He was looking for
devil
a.
went down to Georgia. The devil went down to Georgia. That's the only part I know of that song. Is that he went?
Yeah. Some rising sun.
It's not a kaleidoscope. So while I was down in Georgia,
That's what you get when you turn 40.
I spent Sunday at Brother Edward.
Kaleidoscope. I'm like, what?
Kaleidoscope.
I know what he said.
He said this skull.
I said that's what you get when you're 40. It was just too close. I had to say it.
All right. So I didn't get one of those while I was in Georgia, but we went.
That's what the devil was looking for.
Kaleidoscope.
So we went down there to see my brother-in-law. He is opening a pizza shop soon.
Pizza pie.
Yep. And so we went down there. We tried some of his pizzas, and we're actually really good. On the way down there, I was like, I don't know if these pizzas are going to be good.
Yeah, you had to like throw your hat away if they're not good.
Well, I don't know what I would do. I would kick the dirt off my shoe as I left
Yeah.
town.
Shake
But-
the dust.
Shake
Yeah.
the dust off, bro.
And
Get on down the road.
Anathema.
yep. But we ate the pizzas, and they were actually really good.
Yeah, you say that as like you're surprised. Like my brother-in-law actually.
Well, I mean, like how many
sort
times?
of like it's a rectangle table. My brother-in-law actually did a
no,
good
no,
job.
no, no. But here's what I mean by that. And like, how many times has people like? Have you
Yes.
ever been at somebody's house and they were like, "Oh, we're doing homemade pizzas tonight,"
Yes.
and you're like, "Oh, okay," and then you eat it and you're like, you should have just ordered pizza from
DiGiorno.
somewhere. Yeah, because this was gross. I've never had a good homemade pizza, like where people made it like in their oven and we're just like.
Well,
"We're
I
making pizza."
really hope somebody listening has had David over and made pizza, and they're like, "Ugh."
Yeah. Scoffing right now. How could you?
You know who you are.
Yeah, say name.
but he just ostracized himself. They're like we were gonna have him over for a party, but we're gonna have homemade pizza. We want to invite David.
No, just
We're gonna post that
order it.
video
Yeah,
on
just
social media and say,
order a
"Do not
pizza.
invite him.
Order
If
a
you don't
pizza.
want him to come,
No, stop trying to be the nifty family that makes their own pizzas and order a pizza like everyone else. You know why there's pizza shops? Because they make good pizza.
Well, like
just
pizza
cave-
pie. Hey.
Yeah, like
Hey.
Yankee Pie of Pete's. But no, it was really really good. So we ate a ton of pizza, ate a bunch of Portuguese food because my mother and father-in-law were
At the
there as
pizza
well.
place.
Not at the pizza place. And then we went to a meeting, a revival down in Georgia at People's Baptist Church, where these gifts were given to me by the Brooks family. Tumblers. They made tumblers for us. It says Kitchen Table
who's
Productions
the Brooks
on it.
family?
Joyce and Chris Brooks and their kids.
These are
Wow.
awesome.
Pretty impressive.
Look at this. You're closer, I think, Harry. Give him a full.
This is the.
Make it spin. I have a video where I can put the
Can we get a
video
hand
up.
clap of praise for the
Yeah.
the light shining above, rotating?
Dude, this is like some at home. What's
I
that?
gotta do the-
HC. What's the
I feel like the
What's the
Kitchen
network
table
where you can
the
buy
kitchen,
stuff?
like the
The
network.
TV show? What's the channel?
QVC.
QVC.
Yeah.
Man,
These are
Oh, wait, there's
wonderful.
more.
Yeah, they're really awesome.
Our beautiful faces featured on every square inch.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Kitchen Table Productions. I'm gonna get the information of if you guys want to order tumblers from them. My wife has had tumblers made. Our church had tumblers made for all the bus workers this year.
From this person?
From these guys. So they're also I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they're also the ones that made the vinyl stickers for your cars that we got you for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
So
Everything.
yeah,
Wow.
but they make tumblers. So I'll get information if you guys are interested in getting tumblers.
Well, maybe we can get some made and give them away as something that we were
We
talking about
We
earlier.
can figure something out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they gifted us these tumblers and they're awesome. They're sweet. I opened them when we got here.
Absolute huge thanks, guys.
Yep.
Really
Very-
appreciate that.
Very impressive.
I don't think I've met them. I don't think I know them, but
I know I
you're
haven't.
awesome. You're awesome.
They deserve a hand clap of praise.
I already get, okay.
No, the Tumblr did, but now it's them. Well, hey,
It's too many
no, it's not. They had that. Don't give them two. You don't want to get them to make a fool of themselves.
Yeah. Listen. Oh my goodness, that's
Wow.
so many hand claps.
Yeah,
All right.
So
you're pretty much welcome with this. Like you should be thanking us at that point.
yeah. Other than that,
You went on a trip, didn't you? Or it was Georgia?
Georgia was our
Was the
trip.
trip.
Was our trip, and then other stuff we have coming up that people may or may not see me at, like Youth Ablaze and such. Those are trips that are coming up. They have
Oh,
not
yeah.
happened as of yet.
That's great.
What about you,
What
Cameron?
about you, Cameron?
He was waiting. You see him waiting? He was waiting. Somebody asked me what I've been doing.
Right,
That was-
waiting.
I was waiting for you to
Ask
keep
me.
going.
Ask me, man.
Sure. That's what I was doing.
Cameron.
I was actually trying to figure out when's the last time we recorded and what has transpired since.
It's been
It has to have been the beginning
at
of
least 2-3 weeks.
It was
before snow camp,
okay. So
which
I
was
went
like
on
the 15th.
I went on a cruise with my wife.
Wow.
Who's the cruise line?
Wow. Carnival.
Disney.
Wicked.
Yes.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Was it nice?
Oh, it was really nice. The only reason we did Disney was because I had
You're
heard.
bougie.
No, I had heard that it's a lot cleaner as far as you don't have to worry about casinos or dirty shows but we really enjoyed it. It was great. We
Those
did
are
it
the best
because
parts.
You
our-
clearly haven't seen the videos of the behind the things. How
Cle-
they're
clearly.
clearly.
So send me the
Yeah.
videos and I will take all my money
That's it.
back. How does that work? I will retroactively not
Yeah.
go on the cruise. You like
Yeah.
that?
All right.
That's
But were you a fan of the cruise life?
Oh yeah, I was for sure. So my wife and I's anniversary is February 27th. So we were gonna do it's our 2-year anniversary. We'll have a kid in May. So I was trying to do just something. We were gonna go on a cruise for our
Oh, you
honeymoon.
still have the freedom.
All right.
Did you go to
So-
the island?
So just let me one thought after another. Here we go.
I'm waiting on you.
Excuse
Ask
me.
a question while he's distracted.
Yeah.
What was your favorite day on the cruise? Monday?
So
The Lord's Day.
Tuesday?
February 27th
Did
is
they
our
have a church
anniversary.
on the cruise.
She would be in 20. She's gonna be like 30 weeks pregnant at that point, and you can't go on a cruise after 25 weeks pregnant.
It's frowned upon.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what. I guess they don't want you to have an
Is
accident.
that
There's
like-
a baby on
Is
board!
that the rule, or is the rule like you can't travel, or is it
No, it's like
specifically
the cruise says you can't go.
Oh, I thought
You
like
cannot
doctors
go,
were like,
yeah.
and at 30 weeks,
They probably
30
just
weeks
don't
you're
want to
not
deal with.
allowed
Yeah,
to go on
they don't want
cruise.
to deal with that.
We were going to
That
go on
makes
a
sense.
cruise for a honeymoon, but vaccines and stuff, which we could talk about that at some point. We weren't going to get the vaccines, so we went to a different place.
You weren't, but did you?
We didn't get
I'm joking,
vaccinated.
go
No,
ahead.
so we've been trying to do one, but for a while. So it opened up, and then it was like, oh, our anniversary. Let's do it early so we can get you in. Well, whatever. So that's what we did. It was great. It was wonderful, man. I mean,
They're fun.
there's still some things that you can't like attend. Like there's certain things that go on. Like there's a pool on the top of the boat, right? But we just stayed away from it. But there are a ton of little kids, but there's still people
Right.
scantily dressed or whatever.
Now
But
my question is, how much did you eat?
a ton.
Like in
Was it
like
all-
an
it was all
insane
inclusive,
amount
right?
It
of
was
food,
all
right?
inclusive.
That's the best
It was
part.
now. Well, I had to pay for alcohol, but no, just joking. He doesn't even laugh.
I
Sicko.
was like, yeah, no, it's expensive.
That's fine. I understand. Yeah.
You didn't get the package?
Nobody's. Lord knows. Nobody's there.
So it was nice. And the whole Disney thing, I get it. I'm really like anti-Disney, but
you also support them in the biggest
Yeah,
financial
you
way that
definitely.
you
Yeah.
can.
You didn't just buy like a $5.99 movie. You spent thousands of dollars on a cruise.
You're like, I'm
But the thing
anti-Disney,
is,
but I
where
also
do you-
submersed
what-
myself in
Yeah.
Disney for a week.
Where do you-
I spent something more than like a ticket going to actual Disney.
I went into an actual.
no, it was cheaper than going to actual.
That's what I'm
Disney.
saying. It's cheaper to actually go.
Like, would you go to Disney World?
Sure.
Yeah. So that's how I came to like. Disney is putting out
Like
some.
I don't support drinking alcohol, but I gave the bartender $1,000.
He needed it, man. He fell in hard times.
No, those guys literally live
Why
on
are you
tips.
coming at me?
The
Yeah.
bartender.
I didn't give the bartender any money. Just virgin pina coladas, please.
That's it.
And then just do I put some in the
It's like
strawberry daiquiri?
like a wing.
Virgin strawberry daiquiri? No, but it was fun. But that's how I came to the okay. I guess other cruise lines. I've never been on another one, but apparently everyone says it's
It is the most family friendly. It's a lot of casino.
It's like a casino, and it's just like a booze cruise.
Yes.
And it's just, if you go to a show, if you go to the magician, like there was a magician show, it was clean. There was a juggler, it was clean. There was an a cappella group, it was clean. But everything else, and they had 3 Broadway shows. The stinking theater in this boat sat 1,500 people, and then there was a movie theater
Yeah.
that sat 1,000, totally separate.
Yeah.
It was like Broadway shows, but it was like Aladdin, so it was clean, and it was
We don't
Frozen.
have to pay to play those movies on the cruise.
Yeah.
No. I'm saying these were actually actors, Broadway shows.
Oh, okay.
Like they was acted out, and it was like things coming up from the floor.
Hey, weren't you just cleaning my sheets?
People on these were actual actors.
Guys practicing.
People on zip lines. Again, 1,500 people in a Broadway theater, huge. It was not. It was insane. I don't know how they fit it
So
all.
you're pro Disney.
No, I'm saying it was at least.
Yeah, out of all the cruises, it's definitely
was
the
clean.
cleanest. Like if you go to Carnival, there's a whole casino floor.
Yeah.
like
There
people.
is.
Yeah,
I've been on Carnival cruises.
yeah. I was too young to gamble, so I had to just walk through it. And wow, it's
walked
just
in with lots of
smells-
guys. I want to, but what?
Smells
What
like
am I
smoke.
gonna do?
It
yeah,
just smells like smoke. You don't even have to go to the casino to smell the cigarette.
yeah. But they have
smoke
a
on the-
shopping center, and you can buy I didn't buy it, but there's people buy cartons and cartons of cigarettes on the
Oh,
boat.
yeah.
I'm like, why?
That is a funny premise though, because
They have nice watch shops on Carnival.
They had so many jewelry stores.
Yeah.
There was 3 jewelry stores and watch shops.
And I don't know if
Everything is so overpriced there.
well, I don't know if Disney does it.
There's
the
people
way
walking around
Carnival
with
does.
all the merch.
But there's there's a day, a specific day on a Carnival cruise where they're all the jewelry and stuff is on sale now. And buy on
for
sale.
actual price.
Yeah.
not even actual price.
But it's like this Invicta watch that's usually $1,500 is $600 now. And you're like, oh my God, buy the watch, dude. It's only
Yeah.
$600.
What other stores am I supposed to get out in the middle of the ocean? what other watch stores?
But
Where else am I gonna get it?
no, but we went. Me and Nikki went on a cruise for our honeymoon with Carnival,
Oh, that's awesome.
and eating is just it's all I do.
Mm-hmm.
I just eat, and then we get to where we're going. We did
Guess how much weight I gained on this cruise?
10 pounds.
3.7 pounds.
No pounds.
Hey,
But I'll give myself a flex.
Yeah,
I did work out every day.
you found the gym.
It was awesome. It was right over the water, and it was cool. I was like, this is wonderful. I think I did every day but one. It was a 7-day cruise, or 6 days.
Take back your
one
hand
night.
clap.
You want to
Yeah, take it back.
All right, see if we can do this.
Lower the volume as it goes on. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gone.
It's gone.
There was a little wah wah
You
wah. Where's
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those. You just hit every button.
Wow.
They're still clapping on the theme song. All right. Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. So, I eat. That's all I do.
There's a few
is just
things that are staples
eat.
on this
So,
podcast.
we went to Bermuda for 3 days, and the boat went it left out of Maryland, went to Bermuda and just docked there for 3 days. So the boat was essentially just our hotel.
Yeah.
We could go out into Bermuda and have a vacation, and then we would come back to eat and sleep on the boat. And it
They'll leave you though. You got to make sure you're back on the boat.
Well, if I didn't make it back to the boat in 3 days, I was probably
Oh,
dead.
ship of Zion.
Well,
No,
Get on board.
what I do like doing, I do like when you are leaving a place, like going and watching people sprint down the dock because they don't want to get left behind.
Yeah.
Just like running. But we did that once. We had to run back because we were running late. But
That had to be scary.
we were on a cruise, a few Disney cruises when my dad worked there, and if it's like a cruise sponsored activity,
they make sure you are.
they have to wait for you. So like, I was like, wow. So we were doing zip lining, and then it was just like sponsored by a cruise. So we were
Side of the ship.
the last group. No, it was off.
That's how you got back on the boat.
It was at St. Thomas. So we were out,
God rest his
and we're
soul.
like, yeah, well, bless him. He really did good work.
You caught that?
His faith was shaky,
said,
but
God
he did a
bless
good
his soul.
job. Yeah, for all the stuff that Thomas deals with, he was all right.
St. Thomas.
So, anyway, but it was sponsored by a cruise, so they had to wait for us. So, this guy's driving all through the mountain, like, dude, we're about to die.
The whole time you're on St. Thomas,
you can
just
hear
keep
the,
saying,
yeah,
I doubt it.
it was crazy. But like you can hear like the cruise horn honking, like saying it's ready to leave, and like we're like, wow, we might be left here. And then, like all the staff members are out there. Me as a kid, I'm like, wow, this is so cool. All the staff members are here waiting
Welcome
for
back.
me. Welcome back. Meanwhile, the captain's like, man, I can finally leave
They're
now.
like sweating. They're like,
Yeah,
come on.
that's
So
it.
we went. Our last cruise was before COVID, BC. We went to
That's nice.
Curacao.
That was nice. Before
BC,
COVID.
Before COVID.
BC,
Good.
yeah.
It's good.
Before, yeah. So we went to Curacao. I think that's how you say it. Curacao. I don't know how you say it. Down there by Aruba, and we heard that there was a like a cliff that you could jump off into the water. So me and Eric were like, "Yo, we gotta go find this."
You can jump offside the boat too.
But if you jumped off this cliff, you wouldn't die if you did.
He used to
So-
say,
yeah,
he used to say you
You can
can.
do that
So-
for free. After you spend the
So
time.
Yeah, if
there's
you want to live, just go down to the third deck and
So there's
do
this
it.
20-foot cliff, and we were like, dude, let's go jump off this cliff. So we're jumping off the cliff. We're having a good time. Da 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 da. And then this guy, I guess who lived there, was like, oh, there's a 40-foot cliff up the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
black market.
a 40-foot cliff, you say? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, how far? And he's like, man, it's like 10 minutes up the road. And so we were like, yeah. So we had rented a car. So we were like, let's go.
You
So
and Nikki?
Me, Nikki, Eric, and Bethany. So we drove to this 40-foot cliff, and Nikki and Bethany were not going to jump off the cliff. But me and Eric were like, let's do it. So this guy and his wife.
You
were
guys
like,
were probably just like, that same scenario has happened when people just drive right into life imprisonment and slavery.
yeah, human trafficking for sure. So
Go for
I can run faster than Eric. So
And he can run faster than both of the girls. So we're good.
yeah. So we're driving, and I'm like, dude, I can't find this cliff. We are about 40 minutes away from where the boat is.
It wasn't 10 minutes?
No. We were 40 minutes away from the boat. 10 minutes further.
Yes.
To find the 40-minute cliff. So we're driving down the road, and I see this guy, and he's like looking over this cliff. I was like, that's got to be it. So let's.
You drive off it.
So we pull up.
No time to stop.
So we pull up, and me and Eric jump out of the car, and Eric goes, hey, is this the 40-foot cliff? And the guy's standing there with his wife, and he's like, yeah. He's like, we've been here for like 30 minutes, and I just can't jump. Like, I can't do it. And Eric's like, well, do you mind if like we just go then? Because like we gotta go. And the guy's like, yeah, sure. Eric's like, cool, thanks. Whoop. And just jump. Doesn't even think about it. Just like Mario jumps like off
That's
the cliff.
great.
And then I'm standing there waiting. I hear splash.
You'd like he's going.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
screams.
And then I go, hey, Eric. He goes, yeah. I'm like, you alive? He goes, yeah. I go, okay. So then I jump, and the guy's like, what in the world? So
His wife's like,
Yeah.
she's just staring at him like,
yeah.
it's embarrassing.
So
He used to be so adventurous.
Only,
we jump.
so many more disappointments to come.
We jump in the car. We're about 45, 50 minutes away from the boat, and the boat is supposed to be leaving in like 40, 45 minutes. So we jump in the car, and I'm like, just like, dude, burning through this island. we park in the spot where like the guy where you return the car rentals and stuff like that. We got out of the car, grabbed our bags. The guy came walking over. He's like, "Did you have a good time?" I was like, "Yeah." Just like tossed him the key, and then we ran back to the boat because I was like, "I'm not getting left here, man. I'm not gonna make it."
Oh man, extra times in paradise. Oh,
Oh no!
I gotta get back to my 9 to 5.
What am I gonna do?
But yeah, that was the only close call. Other than that,
You just appreciate your ministry so much that you wanted to get back to it. That's why. Yeah.
amen.
Yeah.
Eternal value.
That was fun. The cruise was great. Then we went to, the reason we had to double up on so many was I was going for a cruise, and then David left for Georgia, and then I left for West Virginia.
Yeah.
Shout out Chad Eastep if he's listening. At Tays Valley Baptist Church. I know there's a couple people there. People knew we had a couple people knew we had a podcast, but I don't know. I didn't know this church existed. It was like it's like 1,000 people. It was a really great church. It was like really big. I did not realize because I've never been there. Just Brother Chad reached out to me on Twitter and was like, "Hey, you guys would like to come?"
It sits 1,000 people, there are.
It sits 1,000 people, and every night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there was like over 600 people there. Like it was doing. I'm like, wow, this is
Cameron's big time.
7-8 pastors. I was like, wow.
Wow.
It's like, how does that make me big time?
Big leagues.
Yeah, man.
Pulling in the crowds.
This guy.
So Jonathan McNeese, he was preaching.
Okay.
So that was cool. He knows Pizza Pia, Jeremy.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I had his hat on, Jeremy's hat for the pizza place, and he goes, "That's a nice hat." And I said, "Yeah, it's actually Jeremy Massimento, Dixon, the connection." He's like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah. They know the McNeeses.
So we got back from there Thursday, and then we didn't have an episode recorded. So we are here recording. And then today I had a class, a concealed carry class for Maryland. And my wife did the Delaware and Maryland. It's all like combined from 9 to today till 5:30, and then came back here. I was like, my goodness, funny story, dude.
Someone got shot.
This
You didn't
teacher,
talk about your Disney's private island.
Okay, I will.
This
I don't.
guy.
It's
You
not
didn't
that
see,
exciting. What's it called?
I don't know what it's called. They like Jack Sparrow, like normally greets you off the boat.
I forget what it's called. I cannot remember. I know it was a Caribbean cruise. We went to the Cayman
I spent all
Islands.
my time at the
we
bar
went
anyway,
to,
so.
Jamaica.
Why is the rum
We went to the Castaway Keys. That's what it is. Castaway Keys.
Cove.
I think it's Keys. Castaway Key.
I don't know. I'll fight
Yeah.
you on
It's
that
like
one.
their private
If only
island.
there was like some kind of like technology at our fingertips.
You're not camp. You can't make that joke.
To Google.
Get your own.
Yeah, look it up.
Stuff.
Get your own one-liner.
He got it from Nate Bargatze.
He only has so
anyway,
many one-liners.
Did I? I remember
Bro,
him
that's the
saying,
oldest joke.
dude, I remember. No, I don't remember him saying that. I know he said if he went back in time, he wouldn't be able to figure out
on his podcast, he says that.
if we only
If
had.
only there was a way to figure this out right now here on the podcast.
Because I don't like anytime they have a question, he already has it pulled up.
Hey, that's how the episode started.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
But then you can buy.
David always has to be right. Tell you what,
Yeah.
Anyway.
the devil did go down to Georgia.
Yeah, he did. Looking for a soul to steal.
I
That's
was
what it
saying
was.
something.
He was in a bind.
Castaway Keys was cool.
Words?
He's looking for a soul to steal. Yeah.
The only words I know that song is.
And then the guy on a banjo duels him.
Yeah.
Was it
It's a fiddle.
Was it
It's a fiddle.
Yeah,
Tommy.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I was listening to that on the way up.
Really?
No.
That's what gets me in the podcast mood.
I gotta wake myself up. Yeah.
Oh, golly. Man. This guy in the
What is this episode?
There's a guy in
man?
college.
listen, this concealed carry class, the teacher's up.
This show has gone downhill.
The teacher is up teaching. He's talking about concealed carry weapons. He talks about a taser, and then he talks about pepper spray. He starts going through the ingredients of pepper spray. This is at our church. Okay. Half of the people, we had a class last week, there was like 20 people. This week, there's 22 people. We had split up into two groups.
Right.
Because Dad's best friend, great friends with an instructor. Maryland just opened up to where you could do a class, so everyone's trying to get their Maryland concealed carry. So this guy is teaching. Now, mind you, the guy who said this does not go to our church. I don't know who this guy is. The teacher, great guy. He doesn't go to our church. So this is not me saying this, but the guy
So in the words of
No,
Cam.
yeah,
In the words of Cam,
no
repeating
swear
somebody
words.
else. It's not cursing. It just might be considered racist.
Yeah, I'm on the edge of my seat.
He
right
goes,
now. It might be considered racist.
yeah, listen to this. He goes, pepper spray. It's made of cayenne pepper. You know, a formula that's something coming out of cayenne pepper, and it's, you
So
know,
nervous
when
and
you
sweaty.
shoot this, it's going to make your nose instantly snot. Your eye, you're going to lose control of your anything to do with your face, your ears, your eyes, your nose, your breathing, your tongue. Like everything's going to swell. The guy raises a hand and goes, "Yeah, I heard that because it's filled with cayenne pepper that it doesn't work on Mexicans." I was like, and he was dead serious.
Wow.
And all of us are like,
That is
and we did-
racist
we
because Mexicans and
died.
Cubans aren't the same thing.
he goes, I know, he goes, I heard sometimes it doesn't work on Mexican. He's in Mexican. I heard sometimes it doesn't work on Mexicans because they eat a lot of peppers. I was like,
This
and
is,
the
so we
instructor's
can't,
like,
this
yeah.
is why we're at where we're at. Now, here I was thinking it was Biden, the reason why there's so many immigrants coming in. It is that
Pepper
they're
spray.
immune to pepper spray.
They're
How
immune
else are we going to stop
to
the
pepper spray.
immigration
We gotta
problem?
We're
Yeah, we
like,
gotta update
everyone,
our-
dad's there, everyone's there. We're just like, we just looked at him like, and the instructor's like,
If we-
I've never heard that.
Yeah, maybe if
but
we swapped it out with like Texas Pete hot sauce.
Yeah.
This guy was
they'd
dead
be able to-
serious.
he was dead serious. I'm
Like
not-
this is like a thing that he
was
believes.
he's probably in his mid 60s. He was an older gentleman, but he was like, no, I've heard because that's why it doesn't work on some Mexicans because of the pepper. They eat so much pepper. And the instructor was like,
They're immune. Bamboozle. It's like, they're like, yeah.
swim in
dude.
it.
And then
Try
it was
me.
like silence for like 5 seconds, and then uproarious erupt. We died. And I don't know if the guy felt stupid, but and the instructor is sitting there, and he's like wanting to laugh, but he's like, yeah, oh yeah, no, I've never heard
That's
that.
so-
I've never quite heard that.
I've never in my
Oh
life.
my goodness.
That's so
Oh,
funny.
dude, it was insane.
That was today.
Yes, it was today. Somebody across the room said, podcast material. I was like, yeah.
That's
So-
wild,
Look,
bro.
someone else in our church, we were doing a live stream.
Okay.
Okay. And we had just have a camera set up in the back of the church through a Facebook.
This was during COVID times.
This
or
was
this is
about a month ago.
oh, okay.
And people were getting sick. Like it wasn't necessarily COVID, but it was like
Monkeypox,
whatever people were getting sick with this last round.
Ebola.
This guy is in church, and Dad had told people, look, if you feel sick, if you have a scratchy throat, whatever, just stay home. You know, no one wants to get it. So we had a lot of people on this particular Sunday stay home. One guy walks up to the camera, not looking at the camera, but standing by the camera, back turned.
He's picking his nose.
He goes, man, I hope nobody finds out that I have a scratchy throat.
Says it in front of
Like does like the office like look at the
Dude,
camera.
Somebody said to me, he's like, you're never going to believe what just happened. Everyone on live stream just heard so-and-so say, I hope nobody finds out about my scratchy throat.
Time out.
As he looks
One-
around.
Who says that to
And, like, just
themselves
makes, like,
out loud?
just
He
look-
nervously said it. He was like,
Yeah. That's
I can go find it. It's amazing. He's
Secondly-
like, oh, I hope no one finds out
secondly-
about my sore throat.
It's like
is what he
inner
said.
monologue.
And then he walked away.
That sounds like something that I would do on purpose in front of the camera.
this wasn't on purpose.
That's
like,
so funny.
it's where he always stands, and he was back there, and he's like, hope nobody sees it and finds out about my sore throat. And then, dude, I got a call. The guy was dying. Somebody else was like, dude, you are not going to believe
so
what just happened. I'm like, what happened? He's like, listen.
That's funny.
We had a
Oh, my
we had a
goodness.
missionary to Japan at our church on Wednesday, who
Let me see if I can read the text. Oh, my gosh. Go ahead.
he just like randomly showed up, kind of like he was in the area, so he Googled Baptist churches in the area.
Well, amen.
Then he went through like the websites, and when he got to our website, he saw on our website it was like, oh, we're King James Bible,
Believers.
fundamental, the whole night, and he was like, oh, this is the church we're going to. So he called the church. Got a hold of my pastor and was like, hey, we're going to be in the area. What time is your service on Wednesday? We just need to go to a church. Is this it?
He said he was standing there in the camera talking to himself saying, end quote, Lord, please don't let anyone find out about this sore throat I got.
So he's praying. You guys are listening to
that-
his prayer life.
Let
God
that be
was
a lesson.
exposing it right there,
Be
like,
sure your sins.
Thou art
into a
the man.
camera.
Like you're sitting there like, Oh no! Like he doesn't
prayed
even,
in secret.
he doesn't
was
even know.
rewarded openly.
That's funny, dude.
So
Proclaimed on the housetops.
he shows up and pastor talks to him a bit and stuff like that. And pastor's like, oh, okay, find out what the guy believes, and he believes like we do and stuff like that. So pastor goes,
He moved here.
no, he's on
furlough.
Yeah, he's on furlough. So he's been a missionary in Japan for 17 years, and he's just home because like his granddaughter was just born and stuff like that. So like he's just in the States, and then he was bouncing around churches. Was in our area, was like, it's gonna be Wednesday night, we need to find a church to go to.
Okay.
Stumbles across our church, shows up, pastor talks to him. Pastor goes, oh, well, tell us about your ministry. So he talks about what they've been doing in Japan and stuff like that. And then pastor goes, are you ready to preach? Like, you interested in preaching? He goes, yeah, sure. So he gets up to preach, and he starts preaching on
Don't cry, man.
Yeah,
Right,
dude, it tore me up.
Pepper spray.
Yeah, no.
It only works on white people.
Yeah, me. So he's going through, and he was preaching on a couple of different things about pride and all this other stuff. So he starts going through, and he goes, and he uses this illustration. He goes, "Do not raise your hand. This is rhetorical." He's like, "But how many of you guys know that you are, opinionated and outspoken, right?" And I raised my hand, and somebody behind me goes, "Dude, he said don't raise your hand." I go, "I know, but I'm too outspoken."
Too opinionated.
Yeah. So like, everybody kind of chuckles or whatever. And I'm not like making a big scene. I'm just like doing the little raise hand or whatever. So that the 2 or 3 people around
As
me.
a podcaster
you're
does.
prideful.
Yeah.
You're prideful. It's okay.
So then he goes, how many of you guys know that you have a pride problem? And at this point, I have to commit to the joke. So I'm raising my hand for every bad thing he says, right? So then he goes through and he goes, and
How many of you struggle with whims of homosexuality? It's like David's.
So then
It's a safe place. Church is a safe place.
So then he goes through and he gets down to Judas, and he goes, and Judas, he was the treasurer. And people are like, man, why was he one of the disciples? And he's like, when I think of Judas, I think that, he was probably, a likable guy, like, attractive and stuff like that. And I was like, just to raise my hand, and everybody was like, all right, stop. The joke's not funny anymore. I was just like, yeah, no, me. That's me as well. so
Jack Patterson, I saw him do that. He'd be sitting there, he'd be go, like saying amen.
Yeah.
Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Jack, the one.
Don't you finish your story. Finish your story.
Oh, that was pretty much it. It was me making the joke during church. The one joke that Jack Patterson, because I've heard every Jack Patterson joke 700 times. The one that still makes me laugh every time he says it is when somebody comes walking into church late, and he goes, somebody come and help the sinner right here. Dude, and it makes me laugh every time. I'm like, you should have been here on
He
time.
goes, I'm so hungry every time I swallow them, but the stomach says thank you.
Yeah. What? And when he was,
I'm so hungry that every time I swallow, my stomach says thank you.
Wow.
yeah, he always, he's like, I'm not going to preach long because trust me, nobody in here is more hungry than I am.
But he'll sit there. He's like 6'7", 8.
He's 6'9".
Yeah, and then he's very he's just a bigger guy.
He's huge.
He'll sit there as you're singing or preaching. He's like, yep. And he does his hands so fast. That's his aim. He's like, yep.
Oh.
Come on, preacher.
And he walks over to like when he was preaching, he'd like walk over to the edge of the stage there, the platform, and he'd be like, "Oh, and great was the fall thereof."
It's funny.
Dude, he says the same jokes. He's been saying the same jokes since I was 9. Just same jokes.
That's gonna be you, David.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to pass that legacy.
I'll do
to the
it.
next generation.
I'll do it. Same jokes. Yeah,
Write those down.
yeah. Got them. They're all up here.
All right, what are we doing?
How long are we in?
48 minutes.
You want to jump to the topic at hand?
Sure. We have some emails, but I guess we will.
You're gonna throw them on the next one.
Might as well. Let's do it. Let's do that. So I was driving yesterday. We'll get right into the topic. I was driving yesterday, and my 14-foot trailer, F350, big rig. I'm 715. I'm in between Harrington. I'm in between Royal Farms and Hardee's. I'm sitting there in the morning. I'm just drinking my coffee, and the intersection is buzzing, and my truck just goes, And I'm like, no.
Nah,
I did.
I say it.
Can I put the beep in that
Yeah,
episode?
put the beep.
All right.
When David put the beep, I did not cuss. I promise.
I didn't leave it in.
How do we know you didn't leave it in?
Well, if you watched our YouTube videos.
Dude, I can't listen and watch.
So the story goes is Cameron was telling us like a joke, and it was the perfect moment.
It framed me to look like I was
It really did.
ripped
It was
one.
it was the perfect moment for me editing the YouTube video to put a beep in there,
Yeah.
as if Cameron was cursing, and it was so perfect that I recorded it and I sent it to the guys and asked, should I leave this in here? And none of them answered because they wanted me to. And
Or so you have to listen to it.
and of my own accord.
When
I
you hear
decided
that
not to leave
beep,
it
there's
in.
only one word that comes to your mind.
No doubt. Like when I say it was absolutely perfect, Cameron did not cuss.
It was.
I put it in there to make it sound like he was cussing.
Yes.
But then I took it out because I knew there was
So
gonna
as
be
I'm
some
sitting
kid
there,
out there. Be like,
and
"Oh,
my
Cameron
truck goes,
cusses."
and I'm sitting there. Then proceeds the beep, and I'm like, "Well, let's try again." So I went, nothing, nothing. Light turns green. 2 cars ahead
You
of
need
me
to
go.
work on your car sounds.
They're not as good as his turkeys.
It's a hold up. It's a I don't know. It's a
lower.
It was very fast. It was like, so some people are diagnosed. Oh, yes, that's a glow plug, or it's, I don't know. Like, like I have no idea. Like, I have no idea what was wrong with it, but it wouldn't start.
That's
so
what was wrong with it.
now
It
cars are like beep beep beep,
It wasn't working.
and I was like beep beep beep. I'm just joking.
At this point, are you guys honking horns or are you cussing at each other? I don't know what's happening.
Roll
So
down your windows, saluting them.
Put on the hazards, waving people on. I'm just sitting here like I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have a trailer and everything. It's just, and
Yeah.
I'm in the
You're
busiest.
not shifting that bad boy into neutral.
I'm
Just
not
pushing
getting out and pushing this. Like,
Why not, bro?
so, praise the
You're taking
Lord.
steroids.
Come on,
I'm sitting
Mr.
there.
Practice
I
Squad.
called Dad.
Yeah, come on, man.
Practice Squad wide receiver.
Yeah, bro.
Practice squad wide receivers are not pushing trucks down the road. All right,
They could,
that's
though.
strong men, not me.
You can pull it.
Strongman competition.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there. I call Dad. I'm like, Dad, what's up? Good morning.
Brandon
Good
Shaw.
morning. Good morning,
Brandon
Father.
Shaw.
Good morning, Dad. How you
Shaw.
doing?
Shaw.
Good morning. Good morning, Dad.
Good morning, Dad.
All right, we're back.
Hey, I heard you the first 17
Well, then he
times
just
you
kept
said it.
talking, so I was like, Brandon Shaw.
Well, yeah, his sounded more interesting than yours.
Keep going, though. Keep going.
Come on.
So,
Keep telling you about your dad.
All right, good morning.
Pastor
Dad.
Anarazy.
what's
Good
up,
morning.
Dad? How are you?
Did you say good
Good.
morning?
Good, son. How are you? I'm great. I was thinking I should probably call and let you know I'm broke down in the middle of the highway intersection.
Bleep.
At that point,
That's what he said. That's what his dad said.
a truck pulls up. Since I'm blocking the whole intersection, you know, the guy was like, "Do you need me to pull you out of the way?" I was like, "Thanks, ma'am." I had a tow strap, pulled me out of the way, but I sat there for 40 minutes on a side of the road on a broke down truck.
So you weren't working.
No,
Are we getting paid?
I don't know yet. I haven't got my check
day
out
was
from
this?
last week.
What day was this?
Friday.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, you sent it yesterday.
the truck is now in the shop. We have a spare truck. Came, hooked it up, drove an hour to work to Selbyville, where you were at, or Millville, whatever. So the episode today is breaking down. I have never felt more vulnerable than that moment in my life. I felt like,
You should live more.
dude, I was like, first of all, I wasn't thinking about someone pulling me out of the intersection. I'm like, how is a tow truck going to get me and my trailer out of here? You know what I mean? I'm thinking,
True.
I'm like, how is this going to go down? Like, this isn't like, am I going to unhook the trailer? It's a heavy trailer. Like, it's a 4-wheel trailer. Like, there's it's 14 footer. It's wide. It's all my tools are in it, blocking the intersection. But breaking down is not fun. Have you guys had any crazy breakdown stories?
I was doing landscaping in like a 2000 and like probably like a 3 F450, and I was like hooked up a trailer, and the same like the alternator gave out. So I'm like, yeah, I'm out of light, and like a very similar story. So I stopped it, shut it off, and then like I didn't stop, like it stopped there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well that's not good. You know, it's stopping at the light. Well, you know, hopefully the rest of the day we can make it through. Like, Lord bless the truck. And then drove to like the house, like we were doing mow, so we stopped it. And then it was like well, this is kind of dead. And so like we're trying to go back to restart it. So then, after a few, panic calls and looking over his brother, Mike Bliss. So after a few, panic and like, I'm like, this is really,
There's nothing more stressful, dude.
So I'm like, here I am. And they're like, people are like, hey, you want to jump? I'm like, yeah, sure. Absolutely. So I go to, get jumped, then go to jump the car, not like, pulled out of the car and like thrown on the ground, jumped.
Well, it's Jersey.
Those are different stories. And then went to like an auto parts, got a new battery. Like, oh, this is great. We're ready. Okay. At that point, I'm like, I really don't want to do any work today. I'm like so stressed out. I'm like, I'm kind of ready to go home. I'll be honest, after dealing with all this nonsense. I'm like, all right, we'll go to the next one. Go. And then, sure enough, new battery. Nope. I'm like, I think I'm done for the day.
But you bought another battery. It's like so much money, dude.
I think I'm done for the day. I'll be honest. So
yeah, breaking down. Wait, have you ever been on a church trip where the bus broke down?
We were at New Manor.
The bus.
When you have guys praying for the bus to start, we're in traffic on the way to. It would not be a Baptist church trip if the bus did not break down.
Faith Baptist is notorious for bus breakdowns.
So not even just like a bus breakdown. It was. We went through like when I say I was on that trip. 3 different buses from 3 different churches on the way to and back from New Manor. We were down there and we're on our way to, New Manor, North Carolina. We're driving and we're probably in the middle lane of the highway. And all of a sudden, like the bus is, hey, bus isn't running anymore. So we're in hazard, traffic's, zooming past us either side. Hazard's on. Yeah. It's like,
yikes.
Yeah. We're like, well.
We were coming back from Youth Ablaze.
For the bill, start the bus up.
Yeah. Our coach bus, coming back from Youth Ablaze, and our coach bus shut down. It was like done. We broke down. But we were like at a bridge. So there was no shoulder of the road to pull off to, so cars could go by us. Mm-hmm. So it's just like our bus shut down a lane of traffic in a 2-lane highway.
Oh,
it was just it was so bad.
Did you get towed back? What happened?
So they brought another bus from Delaware.
How far?
I want to say they were like an hour and a half, 2 hours away, something like that. It was a couple hours away still.
Were you at the Delaware Memorial Bridge? I mean, still, they would have taken them that long to get the word, the bus.
They got the bus to us. They parked the bus. We,
everyone's thinking, hopefully that one doesn't break down.
We got all the teenagers moved from one bus to the next. And then, so, McKinney's Towing?
No.
He's one of the big tow companies here in Delaware. And he's a member of our church. So pastor, anytime our church has like an issue, pastor's like, I need to borrow a truck. And he's like, all right. So he just came out. Yeah, he just came out, picked up the bus, brought it back to the church, and was like, all right, pastor, see you later. So, but yeah,
your pastor drove the tow truck?
He has before, but McKenny usually when pastor calls, Mac handles it himself. He's just like, all right, like I'm gonna take care of pastor.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, dude, we were out there for so long, and I specifically...
Was it snowing? Because I feel like every time I'm coming back from Youth Ablaze, it's snowing.
No, it wasn't snowing, but it was cold. Youth Ablaze is always like
we should get a thing made for Youth Ablaze, have a table, put some shirts out, and get a pull-up thing.
Yeah, we can do it.
We should do that.
We got the time. I'm going. You're going?
Yeah.
Is Dustin going?
Yeah.
Is Harry going?
No.
It's close to Maine or
New Hampshire.
Wherever she lives.
No, because I'll be up for Super Bowl Sunday. And also Valentine's Day. That's next episode.
So are you moving there? What is happening, man?
It's 6 hours. It's here. Yeah.
Wait, Valentine's Day. This comes out on Valentine's Day weekend?
No, this comes out.
This comes out.
No, the next one
comes out tomorrow. So the next one is about Valentine's Day.
Well, there's our topic.
Well, there you go. For those who could not hear it, so those of you wondering what the next
behind
episode
the curtain
will be.
of how we run the podcast.
Let's cut that out. Write that down.
Carry on.
David, just edit that out so nobody knows what that next episode is.
Beep. So, yeah, we've broken down so many times. I used to tell people all the time it's not a Faith Baptist church trip unless something breaks down.
Yeah.
But
Personally,
that way
though,
to New Manna, that was like we broke down on the way there. It finally started up after many young men of God were praying that the Lord's blessing on the bus.
The Lord.
The Lord bless these. We raised this
cry of a servant.
We raised this bus to you, Lord. We claim it. And then we got to a Walmart parking lot, and then that was when Joe had his Heelys. You remember Joe with his Heelys? So we're at a Walmart parking lot.
Joe Tomlinson?
Yeah. Totally off topic, but kind of on topic. Joe Tomlinson has these pair of Heelys. He's like, guy in his 20s with Heelys. That's a whole episode of just Joe stories.
That'll do.
But anyway, so he's like, Miss J's like, hey, I need to get something from Walmart. He's like, Joe's like, oh, don't worry, Miss J, I got it. So like, he runs down like the aisle of Walmart. But it's like, meanwhile, there's cars. So he's on his Heelys. He like now goes to his Heelys, which are like, kids who you don't know, there's wheels in your heels.
Listen, I've never owned a pair of Heelys. But growing up, I wanted a pair of Heelys so bad. As an adult, if somebody bought me a pair of Heelys, I'd wear them at least once.
Oh,
yeah. So he has his Heelys. He's, heeling on down.
You're doing great. This is wonderful. But also, Heelys are so a thing of the past.
Oh,
like,
for
not only
sure.
were they kids, he is definitely 20 years behind. Because
Yeah.
those were way, like, these are
Early
when I was in
2000s.
middle
These are
like-
gone. So I don't know even
Early
how
90s.
he got a pair of Heelys. Continue.
Yeah, I don't know where he found them. But I think he found them on the Heelys store. Like that's like, probably a website still from the 90s. But he's there. So he's going down the main strip down, like where the
Heelys
parked
for
cars are.
adults is in the auto.
And meanwhile, the whole college is watching him like Heely down to go to Walmart. And there's a car that's coming like down like the drive in front of the Walmart thing, and we're like,
Oh, no.
he's healing. Everyone's like, Joe is literally healing to his doom. And when I say like does like a stop, but now Heelys you can't stop. It's like it's like a staggered arm flailing. Car slams on brake, lays on horns, actual bleep probably, and like he goes into. And we're like,
everyone's just watching it.
We're
You're
like,
broke down.
oof.
So
Like Joe actually almost died.
there's a lot of Heelys apparently.
Yeah.
There's like a whole
But
website.
then, so we went to New Manna with another church bus. Got there, that bus broke down. But there was like we're at like a different like conference center, and there was a hill, and Joe with his Heelys again went down the hill, when we got to the New Manna, they're all introducing to the church. We're in an auditorium, kind of like the conference center. Everybody's like filing where he's going. Meanwhile, like down the middle aisle of the conference center is Joe with his Heelys. And then later in the day, there's like this steep hill, and it's like very steep. So he has his like Heelys, and what else can you do? It's a steep hill. So he goes down there, he falls, ends up going to service bloody.
That's so.
And then we went to
There's so many.
used another. Should I even say like the onesie story?
Look at these.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we fell.
bad
This
boys,
was-
bro.
Yeah, they're fine.
We're
Yo,
fine.
let's get Heelys. Let's all buy Heelys.
But this is also a guy who. Anyway, so we went to New Manna. We got another bus. They drove us back. This is also a guy who. It was like before Christmas. SpongeBob Heelys, dude. That's the way to do it. How much are they?
$60?
That's too expensive. I mean, there's got to be some on eBay. Somebody's got to be getting rid of their Heelys.
$60, but come on, man. The amount of joy
Somebody's had on
it would
eBay for
bring to your
cheaper.
life.
But this was also a guy who was,
Rugrats.
I think Herb. I don't know if Herb hid something in the dorm.
Did it. Herb did.
Hid something in a dorm, and Joe's like, hey, maybe he hid it in the rafters.
He hit it in the like the above.
Yeah, I don't think it actually was up there, but it's like
where the insulation is above the ceiling in the rafters.
yeah. But he was looking for it, so he's climbing up the rafters.
Like he had to get up in the access panel or something.
Yeah, in the access panel, and it's a 2-story house
commitment.
that the guys are staying in.
Yeah, it's a basement, main floor, upstairs, and then the ceiling above, which is literally a third floor.
Yeah.
So he fell.
So he's there up on like to look for something that was hidden up in this access panel, climbing on like the rafters in the ceiling. People like.
So the girls
you're
had a
in that.
flag, the boys had a flag, or something. There was team flags, and someone's flag got stolen, and someone hid it up in the rafters.
Mm-hmm.
Herb Mormon. Go ahead.
And so I don't think it was
Everyone's
up
trying to
there. I
find
think it was up there. I think it was somewhere else, but they said, "Hey, Joe, it might be in the rafters." So he's like, he goes up there.
So he did
Anyway,
it for no
so
reason.
at some point, he right above the entryway, which is like
a full drop.
like 20,
It was 30 feet.
30 feet above entryway, nice entryway of the college dorm. Joe falls through the attic entryway,
Passes the second floor.
just barely misses the railing of.
There was a knight armor mounted on the wall with a spear, and he goes.
Dude, what a story that
Dude,
would have been.
It was literally. He almost got impaled. He was
almost hit
inches
a-
away from
From hitting a rail
hitting a rail
and getting
and
impaled
getting impaled, but he went straight down.
onto the hardwood floor. So paramedics are called, and
He's
so
there.
they had to make sure he's okay.
They cut off his
And
arm.
what he's
a Batman
what he's wearing, it's to strip the clothes off him. He is wearing a Batman onesie, and on top of that, he's not wearing his Heelys. He's wearing Skeletos.
What is that?
It's like,
Skeletos
it's like
like the-
shoes that conform to your toes.
Oh, I hate those things. I hate those.
He's wearing skeletos.
Why does he own Heelys and Skeletos?
So in the guy's WhatsApp chat, there's a video of like Joe on the
Joe on
ground
the ground and all the way up the hole in the
and
ceiling.
then zooming up to the holes.
And he's on the ground. I got the video because I was indoor. I think he's dead. He's like,
I was off campus.
like he's just laying there like this. And everyone's standing there like, Brother Charlie, Brother Bill, they're just standing down there with him like, what do you do? Dude, it was a fall.
Yeah.
Like it was a fall. Because
Talking about-
again, 1 story, 2 stories, he's not on the second floor, he's on the 3rd floor. Like, because
Yeah.
he's in the rafters. That's where a 3rd floor would be.
Yeah,
That's funny, dude.
Lord preserved him.
Yeah, dude.
Now he's in the forces.
Yeah, he is.
Oh
In
man.
the Air Force, I think.
So breaking down.
Yeah.
He broke down, that's for sure.
He did.
Other than that, that's pretty funny. Personally,
Have you ever broke down personally, or has that only been on trips? Because I'll be honest.
I have broken down. Well, I say breakdown. Like one time, I had this old Dodge Neon, the first one, the first Dodge
the
Neon.
classic one.
Yeah, the Penguin Mobile.
Gray with the black hood.
Gray with the black bumper and quarter panels.
Yeah.
So, that car I was driving, and I totaled that car. Literally at like 20 miles an hour.
Wait, it was in the parking lot, wasn't it? No, that was when it slid
No,
down.
that's when I drove into the church. So, so I totaled that car. Got a second Neon. Had it for like only a month, and then the transmission lines just like blew randomly. Like I'm just like transmission fluid, and I was like, looks like I'm walking through the city of Stamford, Connecticut, and I ended up walking for like a year and a half. I just never, but went through that. So the transmission lines blew. That car broke down. I've run out of gas like twice in my life.
Never.
How does that happen?
I've never done it. Thanks for the modern countdowns now.
You know, I've had it was a 93 Chevy S10. And I was
Doesn't that feel the most demoralizing?
when you run out of gas.
When you run out of gas, because it's like everyone's driving by you. Like, how did you get to this spot?
Well, I was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
Like it was just like it was me, and then nothing.
and nobody.
Like it was out by. Do you know where Lipsick is? Oh, so it's outside of like Dover, Lipsick, outside of like Dover and Smyrna, and it's like back by like this swampland, like marsh.
Have you heard
like that.
my message on needing a fill up?
Maybe.
So I preached last Sunday night. I preached it before, not at my church, but I preached it out. I don't know if I did it at camp or anything, but it's literally on running out of fuel, and I give illustration or whatever, and there's some facts in it, literally about what you're talking about. But I might preach that at a meeting I'm going to, and people listen to this, so I don't want to.
But I've since then, like I've never.
So
even
I'm saying
come
that
close
so
to being empty.
to say like I'm not getting a message right now based off of what you're saying.
Yeah.
So when I preach, people are like, "You got that from David saying that on the podcast?" No, it's already been preached.
Edit it out.
Yeah.
They'll never know. They'll never know.
I have the power. Click. So
I do all the actual episodes that are podcast form, so I can keep whatever I want in. He has the YouTube, which has our least amount of views.
Not if David posts a video to his socials first.
He doesn't have social media. He has YouTube. He has access to the YouTube.
Use Nikki.
She's gonna post it to hers, not our account though.
I'm gonna start a campaign.
What dethrone?
Stop Cam from stealing my messages.
Yeah.
Cam blatantly stealing things.
Speaking of stealing messages,
The most.
Michael Shane texts me.
At the pages, because I have a message I'm preaching tomorrow about falling through the ceiling too.
It's Michael Shane texted me yesterday, and he said that he got a call from Brother David Holloman in Texas, and he wants him to come down and preach for like a weekend.
Pastor.
Youth pastor, yeah. And so Michael Shane texted me. He's like, "Hey, like I'm excited. This is the first time I've gotten to go out and preach since I moved out to Colorado because nobody out there knows him.
Right.
So it's like the first time since he moved out there that he's going out to preach somewhere." And I said, "Awesome, dude. That's great." And he goes, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna preach a man after God's own heart." And I go, "Oh, don't do that. Don't do that." And he goes, "Why? I like that one." I go, "I preached that at teen camp. He's already heard that one." I was like, of all the messages you could have stolen from me, that's the one you can't preach there. They heard that one.
That's pretty Baptist.
What did he say?
He just said, I picked a message
Lord
of
led in my
his
heart.
that I've heard him preach. And I said, "I'm working on a message called SS Alexandria. You should," I was like, "I'll send it over and you can preach that one." He's like, "All right, sounds good." But yeah, no, breaking down. And then earlier this week, I sat in the corner of my room and just cried for a good hour. So
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of big.
You were saying breaking.
Before we get into that,
before we unpack all of that,
no, dude, here's something that I know everyone can probably relate with. Maybe with somebody, I know you will. I'm sitting there in the middle of the road, and I keep trying to get it started. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm creating this big deal. There's a tow truck coming. My dad's coming to pull me out. And I know when my dad gets here, I know he's going to get in the driver's seat.
it's gonna start.
He's going to go, just start.
Look, you.
It's almost to the point.
And
Where
I
like,
was
when he
like,
shows up, you're like, "No, don't do it."
No,
Don't
I will pay for everything. The tow truck, the repair. Like I opened the engine and took my hand. I got there to making sure I am
Making sure that truck's not starting.
I'm 27, right? I'm like, what point does something actually not work when I say it doesn't work? Because my dad's always like, "Oh, you gotta, Jimmy rig the like nothing was wrong with it." I'm like that, but it didn't start.
It's like,
I would rather
my car be broken.
Yeah, unrepairable
forever
damage
than a moment of
haul it off to the junkyard. My dad
Take
a small loan on the truck.
Yeah.
Then have to deal with the minute of
the only thing worse than that is when you're sitting there and you're so mad and you're angry because the car won't start and everybody's looking at you and the car just won't turn on to go, and then somebody, "Hey,
have you tried starting?
hey, you broke down?" No, I do this for fun sometimes.
Yeah.
What do you mean am I broke down?
I want to be here. I prefer it.
This is on my schedule.
It's like, you okay? Obviously not.
Yeah. I heard a quote this week. I think Gabe Cochran is the one who had the quote, but I think it was Eddie Murphy. Is that an actor?
Yeah.
That black guy, that real fun.
comedian.
Yeah. His quote was this, and again, not my quote, but I've used it several times since
Are
then.
you going to cuss again?
No.
Cameron.
So
Cameron.
Eddie Murphy said, I think
listen.
it was him. Eddie Murphy said,
Making so
when
much
I
work
was
on me.
young, I had a car that would always break down. He's like, and I found out that when I would break down and get out and start waving at people to come help me, they never stopped. He's like, but when I got behind my car and started pushing it myself, people would always stop and help me push. And it was a leadership quote. Like,
Right.
people don't want to hear, "Help, help, help." They want to see you doing it. Stop worrying about people trying to come help you. Start pushing, start leading, start doing something without help. And people will ultimately, not every time, but, generally people will show up for that before they're going to show up to you. God needs your help. Because who wants to, when people are waving me down on the road, I'm generally like, what are you doing? Like, I don't, not that it doesn't happen.
If you see somebody in the act of pushing a car, you just feel bad for
Cam,
them.
that's a really good quote, but you didn't put it into practice.
What did I do?
You didn't
push it.
You didn't push your truck.
Yeah.
The quote came to my mind.
If you should
It
have
literally, and I'm like, but it was only like 30 seconds.
I'll be honest. If I saw a guy trying to push a truck and a trailer, though, like
a F-350, okay, and I'm behind it.
I'd rather throw out $1 out the window.
And
like,
I would have had to push
sorry,
it.
bud.
I would have had to push it through a red
Hey, you
light,
want me to
through
call
a
you an
light.
Uber? It's like,
Light turns green. I'm like,
ready, guys?
and then we're just watching me like.
turns red, you stop. Oh man.
You stop halfway through.
Can you imagine if I
Man.
actually got it to go though? Like
That would be impressive.
The movement, but like it's in neutral. It's possible that if it was downhill, it was gonna roll. But
Mm-hmm.
can you imagine me like pushing it and then it start catfishing and you're like, yeah, get back in it. Spin the wheel, push it more.
Speaking of
You don't want to
breaking down
jackknife that bad boy.
and speaking of breaking down and
That's a
pushing
good
a
quote,
vehicle, here's a story
preach that tomorrow.
we haven't.
Speaking of,
Yeah, speaking of breaking down and pushing a
guys keep
vehicle,
going, I just
I
gotta
haven't
write
told
down.
this story on
The Lord
the
gave me a
podcast, but one night, months ago, after we had gotten done recording here, everybody wanted to go to the fair, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And me and Harry were like, we're not going to the fair. We're not going to go. And they ended up talking me and Harry to go to the fair.
yeah, he did. You guys got in the
So
van.
we got in the van, and then for whatever reason, I forget why,
Because
forgot
but for whatever
something.
they forgot something here, so we made it around the block.
I was like on my porch.
Because
Yes.
I was in the car.
Yeah.
But I saw the traffic. I'm like,
was that at me? I was in the car.
I saw the traffic. I'm like,
Do that to Ruth. See what happens.
So me and Harry,
this is gonna be a long.
me and Harry are sitting there, and they forgot something. Dustin forgot something in
It
the
was
car.
Dustin, Meredith, McKenzie.
So they came back, and Dustin's like, I gotta get something out of the truck, and we pulled up to the cars. And as we pulled up to the cars, I look over at Harry and I go, I'm going home. And Harry goes, you're going home? I go, yeah. He goes, yeah, me too. So we just got out of the van, and they were like, what are you doing? We're like, yeah, we're not gonna go. So
Because it was like what 6 o'clock at night.
yeah, so
I was like, okay, we're there for an hour. Then it's like, okay, 2 hour back for me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and then by the time
but
you
they're
were
like,
drove
oh yeah,
around
it's
the
right there. But like, okay, but there's literally back to back traffic where you
Yeah,
can't
it
do
was rough.
anything. It'd be like take us 20 minutes just to get in.
So here's what Harry doesn't know about that night. Harry gets in his car, and Harry goes home. I grab my helmet, and I sit on my motorcycle,
Yes.
and my motorcycle does not start.
We have video.
And I go, oh no, motorcycle's not starting. Well, I know I didn't even knock.
Oh, the dog's gonna bark.
So I'm like, dude, it won't start. So my dad, being the motorcycle guy, I call him and I go, hey, the bike's not starting. Give me a list of reasons as to why the bike wouldn't start. And he was like, well, it could be your starter, or, it could be a dead battery, He goes through a list of reasons. And I go, okay. And he goes, if it's a dead battery, that's the best case scenario because you can start that and get home if it's a dead battery. And I go, well, how do I not do that? And he goes, it's just like if you were to pop a clutch on a car, you would do the same thing on the bike. And I go, oh, okay. I've popped a clutch on a standard car before because that's all I've driven my whole life. So I can figure this out. So I'm like sitting there and I'm like, man. And I'm sitting there like going over my
Dude,
head.
it's like 15 minutes.
Yeah. And I'm like in my head, like coming up with the game plan. All right. So, and all of a sudden I hear the door. I look over and Cameron goes, why are you still here? And I go, hey, bro, my bike's not starting. And he goes, no. And
This
I go,
is after you guys circled back,
yep. And
got
Harry,
out.
And Harry left.
Harry left. I came back out. What are you guys doing? We're not going. Okay. We'll see you, David. See you, Harry. Shut the door again. Go
Bike's not
back in my
starting.
house. Come back down the steps. David's
still
still
in front of the
here.
house.
Yeah.
So he comes out and I go, yeah.
It's really hard to leave.
I was like, I just don't want to leave, man. And
Getting choked up.
yeah.
My
So-
wife, we're not doing
So I just don't want to go
We're
home.
fighting.
I had a mental breakdown. So
Yeah.
so Cam goes, okay, so how do we do that? I was like, oh, we got to pop the clutch. We got to get the bike moving. My game plan was I was just going to stand by the bike and see if I could get it moving fast enough. But Cam's like, well, I'll help you. So Cam, comes outside.
As you do.
So Cam comes outside
Wow.
and Cam goes, I'll push from the back seat, right? And I go, all right. And I think
David mount ups.
Yeah, Kayla took a video of this, right? And
He's full sitting.
yeah, bro. So I'm sitting on the thing and I'm like kicking my legs while Cam's pushing.
It's like,
I'm acting like it's
two
a scooter.
kindergartners.
Yeah, bro. And it looks so goofy. We get all the way down. We get down the street, right? And I'm like, and I go, it didn't work. And then I go, man, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? And I didn't tell Cam.
We did it twice.
I didn't tell Cam that the first 2 times we did it.
Dude, and we're talking about like
the first-
50-yard stretches. Like, I realized I'm not in shape. Like,
I felt
I've
so
been
stupid.
doing all upper body.
I felt so
Exactly.
stupid because the first
Skip
2 times
like
we did it, it was in neutral. And it needs to be in first gear.
It won't
So like,
start.
yeah, so I'm like, I'm hitting the start, and I'm like, the key's on, I'm hitting start, and I'm like, it's not starting, Cam. I was like, maybe it's not the battery, and then I'm like, I don't know, and I rested my thing, and it clicked into gear, and I was like, let's try one more time. let's try one more time. And Kayla is laughing because Cam's pushing, he's giving it everything,
Yes.
and I'm like kicking my legs like a moron, and the third time it goes, and then I took off, and that was the last time I was broke down on my bike.
Yeah, I said, don't stop, please.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep going.
Once you turn off the street, you're out.
At the end of the driveway, he stalls again. I'm like, gone.
Like it's like
Lights in my house are off.
Like, you of course see him. Like, well, if I stand on my porch, I really can't see him, so it's not my problem anymore.
But no, it was a battery issue because I did not have I don't even know what you call them, but like a piece of rubber under my kickstand in my garage, and the concrete for whatever reason like drains. Like if you set your kickstand down on concrete, it like drains your battery. But I had no idea.
Witchcraft.
So somebody was like, "Oh, your battery's dead." He's like, "Yeah, do you park it in the garage?" Yeah. Oh, that kickstand will drain the battery so fast. Nobody told me this months ago.
What in
I
the-
got the
That'd
bike.
be like the first thing you should say. You
Yeah.
buying this bike? Here you go.
Yeah, you
Here's
should
a
buy.
little tip.
Yeah.
It's those road demons, remember?
Yeah.
Those road gremlins
I got
steal your
the
battery.
bell though. I got the bell. I forget what the bell's called.
Road demons.
But
Is that what they are? Road gremlins, whatever.
yeah, they were
Gremlins.
calling them the road gremlins. It's a gremlin bell. That's
Yeah.
what they call
Yeah.
it. They call it the gremlin bell so that the road gremlins
Steal your
don't get you.
battery snatchers right there.
Yeah.
Breaking down. Who's the first person you call you break down? Go.
Dad.
AAA.
Big Daddy. Daddy AAA.
I'm like, hey, man, I broke down. Well, I think my car's newer, so I was like broken down. I broke down on the church bus, like me driving the church bus, and that's like, hey, but TJ, you know?
Yeah, I have flat tires. I've got a ton of flat tires, but as far as breaking down, I broke down in the at work truck multiple times, but never a personal car. Like a billion times. Like it was a joke for years. Anytime we go to youth camp, we always got flat tires and broke down. Like people in our church, Mr. Ellers would have the car trailer ready because the church van was going to break down.
Exactly.
Like I'm just like
I
it
get
just
it.
was
I fully
going to
understand
happen. And
on the way to snow camp, they were asking me. Well, yeah, sort of. They were asking me, hey, do you want to drive this van with the luggage to the camp? I said, nah, sorry, I have to get there earlier to help Brother Justin out with some stuff. So I took my personal car there, and then there's two college guys took the church van up with the luggage, and broke down like an hour away. I'm like, Lord,
and it's
never will I ever.
It's always
volunteer.
awful though breaking down because there's a million men out here who knows so much more than you about this car, and you really don't have any idea what's like. They say like you break down. Give your dad a call. All right, hey, Cameron, you have to try. You have to check. Go under the hood and you crawl under it and see if you're leaking any. Check your. It's just like, I don't know.
I just go, what am I looking at?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate
tried,
it, dude.
turning the ignition off then on again.
Yeah. But
Dustin is good. No, he's good. We'll have to get his side on this thing. He's.
Can
I've
you
got-
call him right now?
My
He's gotta
phone's
cut and
recording.
drill.
I could. Check
my
on
uncle's a retired mechanic. So usually I go to him with all my car issues.
here. I run to Jesus.
But if I have an issue, whether it be like car breaking down or some kind of house thing that I need to work on,
see
something
if
like-
this works.
my dad's like the first person I call because if something goes wrong, I know my dad's going to be level-headed about it.
Yeah.
Like the whole way, he's just like, okay,
I
this
feel
is
like in the
problem.
future, if my kid something breaks down, I have to lead with a smart comment. I feel like
Well, sounds like a
have
bad
it.
day to be you.
I don't know if he can have his phone on drill.
is he at drill still?
Yeah, it's been like a four day one.
What does he do?
Don't get him in trouble.
At night though.
Is it calling?
It failed.
That's it.
Let's get him in trouble.
Yeah. Call us Sergeant Direct.
So your boy.
Yeah. But yeah, my dad's the first person I call because I know that he's much like me, or I mean, I'm much like him in the sense of like, if there's an issue, it's like, okay, we'll sit down, take a deep breath, try to figure out what the solution is, and then afterwards you can freak out about it. Or if there's no possible solution, like then the panic starts to set in. But the moment something happens, my first brain response is, okay, well, how do we fix it?
Yeah,
like
I do that too.
And that's the way he is. So when I call him, hey, bike isn't starting. Give me a list of reasons why. How would I fix it? And he's like, do. And then,
sorry.
Whereas if I call my mom, I'm like, Mom, there's an issue. She's like, okay, let's do it. My mom is emotional.
No, I don't go to my mom in times of, like, I'm good as far as like, all right, someone cut themselves or someone like, I don't like, panic. It's usually calm. All right, what can we do? Let's get this fixed. Like I can look at the blood. I can look at blood
as long as
I
it's
can call
not
911. I can handle someone getting hurt or like even a flat tire or something like I'm on it. But it's when the car is like dead on the road. I don't know. Like I have so many plug kits on my truck because I have when you're on a job site and you have a truck and a trailer, you are a couple times, like 3 or 4 times a year, I have to plug tires, flat tires. What it's just, I have spare tires everywhere. But like fight or flight, I don't know if that's what we're talking. Fight or flight, like I don't get flustered. You know what I mean? I'm sort of I keep a calm head, but I just don't know how to fix cars at all.
Yeah,
and it was just because
breakdowns.
I don't know how to do it. But I mean, there's a lot of people in my life who know how. But all the new cars, anyways. Dude, it's all going towards you have to send your car to a computer shop to get it fixed now. Like it's insane.
While in Georgia, I got to drive my brother-in-law's Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's weird because he had the
full self-driving.
I didn't try that out. I wanted to, but it was raining, so I was like, I'm not gonna. But he had the regenerative braking on, like the one pedal driving.
Wow.
So naturally,
how does that work?
So as the car, you don't use the brake pedal. It's just the gas pedal. So when you press it, you go, and then when you let go, it stops. So
I wouldn't trust that. That would be such a weird mental switch for me.
Well, he told me it was on, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm sure I can figure it out. But Nikki was like, dude, why do you keep hitting the brakes? And I'm like, I'm not. I'm trying to coast. Like, you know, because like,
I'd let go during coast.
Yeah, all the time. And I would just like, we'd be like pulling up to a red light, and the Tesla's just going, vroom, vroom, vroom. And Nikki's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just trying to coast to the red light. It took me a minute to get used to that. And then he didn't tell me how to put the car in park.
Mm-hmm.
He just told me how to put it in drive and put it in neutral and put it in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, we get to like where we were going, and I'm like, I don't know how to put this car in park.
Well, just don't put your foot back on the
like,
gas.
So we're like sitting there like, dude, how do we? I'm like looking around. I'm like, there's no buttons. There's like no. This is like, I'm like, how do we do this? And Nikki's like, let me Google it. So we're like sitting in this parking lot. And Nikki's, how do you put a Tesla in park? And then it's like at the gear shifter, there's like a little button on the end of it, and you just. But like
now you know.
Now I know.
Now you're ready for a Tesla.
Now
get after it, man.
Are you good, Cam?
I'm good. I wanted to share this. It has nothing to do with breaking down, but it's very funny, and I enjoyed it. So we're gonna play it.
It's a video.
A lot of my old classmates were married, 28 years old, already married, and a lot of the women are very proud to say that they did not take their husband's name, which is great. You know, it's a real slap in the face to our male-dominated society. If you ignore the fact that they're just keeping their father's name. I was like, nice try, ladies. But we've been working on this patriarchy thing for quite a while. We're going to turn this ship around in one generation. Is that true offensive? Sometimes I'm like, hey, they're keeping their father's name, right? Somebody in the audience will get up all mad and be like, how dare you? How dare you point that out? It's not even my opinion. I'm just calling balls and strikes up here, you know?
Isn't that great?
That's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, I ever thought about that.
No,
I
I
didn't
never
either.
have either. And he's
Just when
slap in the face of the male patriarchy when you consider that you're just keeping your father's
Yeah,
name.
that's funny. I never really thought about that.
And it just
That-
keeps going.
Can't escape it.
No, he's like, it's a real slap in the face. He's like, take that. I'm keeping my dad's name, fools. Anyways, that was off topic, but breakdowns. That's good. That was fun.
Ooh.
All right, what we got as far as who's doing the gospel drop?
David?
Sure.
Dave.
I was thinking about
Give me a second.
breaking down. I was thinking of dancing. I remember I was at a wedding when I was like, I must have been like 5 or something. Sorry, as you get to ready for gospel drop. But like they were doing like, you know, like that. And then so meanwhile, me as a 5-year-old, I'm envisioning the kids, you know, the guys like going to the breakdance, like spinning all around. Meanwhile, like I'm on my butt, sitting down, like, and my hands are on the dance floor, like scooting myself in a circle. And let me tell you, I thought I was like killing it.
Can you hop up on the table and try
Can you
it?
do
Nah.
it? Can you do it now?
No.
Might as well,
I lost my talent. But that's when I said we're breaking down, like, you know, break down.
I thought it was freak out.
It is freak out.
It is
I was
freak
like,
out.
Do we have any
like MC Hammer. Does MC Hammer say break it down?
MC Hammer says a lot. MC Hammer says too legit to quit.
Yeah.
You got to pray to make it through the day. He's got a couple of them.
Before we end here,
Here's something. LeBron James.
is retiring.
No, he is about
Already
to be the leading all-time scorer of the NBA.
Yeah, yes.
They're projecting Thursday at the latest that he will pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar
Oof.
and be the highest all-time
Yes.
scorer of all time.
Yesterday was Jordan Day.
Today was shoot down a balloon day.
True.
You see that? The
Nope.
Chinese balloon.
Oh yeah,
They shot it down.
did they?
Pretty cool footage too.
Oh really? I have
It's
to
like
look
an
into that.
F-22.
I heard about the balloon and like what it can do and like.
I just
what it
wanted
can
them to
do and
send a
stuff like
jet right through the balloon. I thought I'm like, don't shoot it
Dangerous.
down. They're gonna drop some disease on us.
that. They already did that.
filled
I know.
COVID.
They did that a couple years ago and we beat it.
It's like the COVID. It's gonna be another variation of.
Bring them all on.
It's gonna be like pterodactyl, not bat. Anyways, hey guys,
Which isn't a real dinosaur.
like the podcast. What does like mean? Okay, so if you're on Apple Podcast, go give us a 5-star. That's what we need.
Yeah, explain it.
Let's get up. We're at 92 right now.
Mm-hmm. At least
There
that's what I
are
think
a
you
lot
said.
of people listening. Go give us a like. You can do it on Spotify. Do we know? I don't know how to use Spotify as far as giving a like.
Neither do I.
You haven't gone on Spotify and looked.
No.
Can you give a like or a rating on Spotify?
Are we on Spotify? Spotify's like music.
We're on everywhere.
We're on Spotify.
Yes, we're on everywhere.
Wow.
We're legit.
Hey, give us
Too legit to
give us
quit.
a subscribe.
man.
A subscribe on YouTube. Send in your emails. Hey, keep the emails coming, guys. We have some, but emails are slowing down. We're slow last week. Send in the emails for the content and like and share. Share our videos. Comment on our stuff. That keeps us going. It's very encouraging when people email you and let you know they're listening. It's always exciting. So
Yeah, you can give a rating.
you can.
Yeah.
I see David brought out his
one
Red Wings
to-
hat.
1 to 5 star.
Cool. Sure, you can leave a review also. If you want to buy a shirt, you can go to Calm Down It's Fine. No, cdiffmerch.com.
He doesn't even
If you'd
know.
like a hoodie, you can email us and we'll put you on a list. That's all I have for closing thoughts. Here's some music to get you in the mood.
Wow.
Piano player, come on up to the altar's open.
All right.
Have your head bowed, have your eye closed.
The gospel drop. The gospel drop. We live in a world today where identity politics seems to be the main topic of everybody's conversation. Where people are saying things like, accept me for who I am, and God made me this way, and all of this other stuff. Well, I'm here to tell you that God loves you, but he loves you enough to change you. The Bible says, to the praise of, in Ephesians chapter 1, to the praise of the glory of his grace, wherein he had made us accepted in the beloved. God loves you enough to save you and change you and make you better and watch you grow, but he doesn't accept you for the way that you are. He accepts you in the beloved. He accepts you for who you are in Jesus Christ, in whom, verse number 7, in whom we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins, according to the riches of his grace. So if you think that you can work your way to heaven, or you're good enough to get to heaven, or that you can make it on your own, the truth of the matter is you can't. The only way you can make it is to be accepted in Jesus Christ. Ask him to save you, forgive you of your sins, and God will look down on you and see his righteousness on you, not yours. And that's the only way to get to heaven.
Amen. All right, guys, thank you for listening to this episode of the Calm Down, It's Fine podcast. We love you all. Thank you for tuning in each and every week. From us three at the table and Dustin at Drill, we love you guys. And remember, in this week in your life, calm down. It's fine.
It's fine.
Unless it's not.